Mm. Well, let's look at, well, yes, we're focusing on the economy.
Yes, please.
But I'm wondering, I mean, the letter of President Obasanjo was not filled with a lot of hope. Yeah. In fact, he actually accused the current administration of creating a situation of hopelessness and despair. Now, in his remedy, he talked about a coalition for Nigeria. Is it something, I mean, both major parties have vehemently resisted the idea. They say that our democracy is still young. We still need to develop the parties that we currently have. And they believe that the party system which we currently have can deliver maybe
in the first place,
development in Nigeria.
Yeah, in the first place, there's a presumption that there's only two parties. They're not just only two parties.
Of course,
and
I mean,
secondly,
the fact that you're coming from
yes, absolutely. Then secondly, now Obasanjo is not saying anything new. There are many coalitions for Nigeria. There are several groups over the past 3 years that have developed, that have formed, because they have thought. I mean, recently a group is marching from Lagos down to Abuja. That's a coalition for Nigeria. When there was the issue of Jonathan, when Yar'Adua was still in power, when he was ill, there was a coalition for Nigeria. There is always a coalition for Nigeria. With regard to what Obasanjo said, I mean, the ex-president, highly respected individual, but, he's partly responsible for the whole thing. So maybe the solutions should come from him taking a good look at the mirror.
So when you look at today's political culture in the country, though, and you see how heavily money influences the electoral process, from campaigns to even election day payments, what do you have to say to the Nigerian electorate in terms of what the possibilities are? If you're talking about a third force, what can you do as a member of COA party, for example, to really enhance grassroots support in such a way that you're not necessarily giving money on election day, but you're still getting that support? How do you do that with these other parties that have money?
Thank you very much. Education, education, education. Communication. Talking to the people. Moving out there. And it's not as if, look, nobody goes into politics. I mean, there's expenses for politics. So money will play some role. But the previous governments, including this one, has sort of turned people's attention to the fact that money is the end-all and the be-all. And the truth be told is that, look, on one breath, we ask people not to sell their votes. On the other breath, we're offering people all sorts of incentives. We're running a heavily patronage system. Why, for the life of me, look, why should you have a head of state or heads of states taking up the petroleum ministry as a preferred ministry? It is the highest earning ministry. The message is that, look, why can't the head of state be the Minister of Education? It's where the priorities are. We have created a situation whereby we have focused on the form, we've left the substance. We have allowed our sense of materialism to overrun our sense of duty.
And is that all of us?
Well, it's become a Nigerian thing. It's become a Nigerian thing. It's hard work, yes. Parties like COA, yes, we will talk to other parties. There will be parties of like minds. But at some point in time, Nigerians will look beyond party. Nigerians will look beyond what people claim they are. Nigerians, they say it's not what you say that matters, but it's how you make people feel.
Because I'm looking at, you talked about how, I think that's a direct criticism of the fact that the president is the current Minister of Petroleum.
Yes, so was Obasanjo.
But we saw a situation, we had a president who was not the Minister for Petroleum. Yes. In fact, we had two. Yes. That was President Yar'Adua. There's just immediate past President, Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes.
Who, was there any improvement, really?
There was no improvement, but the focus of the petroleum sector, and the use of the petroleum sector to fund everything from politics to the kitchen sink and everything possible itself skewed. So the fact that Jonathan was not in charge of the petroleum sector, that was commendable, right? and he delegated that responsibility to somebody.